I thought my wife was cheating with our neighbor. Turns out he was just one of many. The way I found out and got revenge still feels unreal. I never expected my life to turn into something out of a drama series, but here we are. So, for context, I, 32 years old male, have been married to my wife, Emily, 30 years old female, for 5 years. We live in a nice neighborhood in Austin, Texas, where everyone seems to be a little too friendly for my liking. You know the type: weekly barbecues, HOA meetings, and everyone knowing a little too much about each other's business. Emily has always been a social butterfly. She's the kind of person who can make friends with a rock. I, on the other hand, am more of an introvert, but I trusted her completely. She's never given me a reason not to, until about 3 weeks ago. It all started when I noticed she was texting someone late at night. She'd laugh at her phone, quickly lock the screen when I walked in, and act like nothing happened. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she was just in a group chat with her friends, but something in my gut told me to pay attention. Then came the weird schedule changes. Emily suddenly had a weekly yoga class on Tuesday nights. We both worked from home, and she'd never been into yoga before. But hey, self-improvement, right? Then I started noticing something else. Our neighbor, Jason, 36 million, was suddenly a little too involved in our lives. He'd wave at me awkwardly, avoid eye contact, and just seem nervous. Jason and his wife Claire lived 2 houses down. We weren't exactly friends, but we'd make small talk at neighborhood gatherings. One night, Claire stopped by with some extra cupcakes she'd made. While we were chatting at the door, she casually asked, "So, how's Emily been? Haven't seen her much lately." Something about the way she said it made me pause, like she was fishing for information. So that's when I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked Emily's phone, and that's where I'm going to leave you hanging for now. I know. Checking your partner's phone is a huge violation of trust. But at that moment, I wasn't thinking about morality. I was thinking about the way Emily had been acting lately, the way Jason seemed to be avoiding me, and the weirdly timed questions from his wife. Something didn't feel right. So when Emily went to take a shower, I took my chance. My heart was pounding. I knew her passcode. She never changed it. The second I unlocked her phone, I went straight to her messages. And there it was, a conversation with a contact named Jenna. Except, I knew Emily didn't have a friend named Jenna. I opened the chat and my stomach dropped. The messages weren't sexual, at least not directly, but they were intimate. Inside jokes, late-night conversations, and worst of all, little things like, "I can't stop thinking about Tuesday night. Wish I could see you today, but it's too risky. God, this is killing me. Do you think he suspects anything?" I kept scrolling, my hands shaking. The messages stretched back for months, not weeks, months. I clicked on the contact info, and that's when my suspicions were confirmed. Jenna wasn't a woman, it was Jason. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling like the air had been sucked out of the room. Jason, our married neighbor, the guy who had grilled burgers with me last summer, the guy whose wife had just been standing in my doorway asking about Emily. At that moment, the shower turned off. I barely had time to put the phone back before Emily walked into the bedroom, towel wrapped around her. She smiled at me like nothing was wrong, like she wasn't sneaking around with the guy 2 houses down. I didn't say anything that night. I needed time to think, to process. But I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't just confront her without proof. I needed more. So the next morning I called in sick to work. Emily left for her yoga class like usual, and as soon as she was gone, I walked down the street to Jason and Claire's house. Claire answered the door, looking a little surprised to see me. "Hey, everything okay?" I hesitated. I had no idea how to start this conversation. So I just said, "Can I talk to you about something, privately?" Her expression changed immediately. She stepped aside, letting me in. We sat at their kitchen table, the tension thick. I wasn't sure if I was about to destroy her world or if she already knew, but I had to find out. I took a deep breath. "Claire, do you think Jason is having an affair?" And that's when her face did something I wasn't expecting. She laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a confused laugh, a knowing laugh. I just stared at her. What? She shook her head, still chuckling. Oh my God, you really don't know, do you? Now my heart was racing. Know what? She exhaled, running a hand through her hair. I was wondering when you'd figure it out. Then she looked me dead in the eye and said, Jason isn't the only one your wife is seeing. I felt the blood drain from my face. What? She leaned back, crossing her arms. Emily's been sneaking around with at least one other guy, maybe more. I don't know all the details, but I've seen things, and I'm guessing you have too. I couldn't breathe. My hands clenched into fists on the table. This wasn't just some one-time thing with Jason. My wife was living a double life. And the worst part? Claire didn't seem surprised at all. I sat there, my mind racing. My wife, my Emily, wasn't just cheating with Jason. There were others. I swallowed hard. How do you know? Claire sighed like she'd been holding on to this for a while. Because I've been watching, and because I was waiting to see if you'd figure it out. Waiting? She got up, grabbed her phone, and tapped a few times before sliding it across the table to me. Here, take a look. I hesitated, then picked it up. It was a video, a grainy night vision clip from what looked like a hidden camera. The footage showed a parked car, Emily's car, in a driveway, not Jason's, someone else's. A man I didn't recognize got into the passenger seat. They kissed. My stomach churned. Who the hell is that? Claire shrugged. No clue. There's more, though. She pulled up another video. Different day, different location. Emily stepping out of a hotel, alone. A minute later, another man followed, different from the last one. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. This wasn't just an affair. This was a pattern. I looked up at Claire. Why are you showing me this? She gave me a half smile. Because I need your help. I blinked. Help with what? She leaned in. Jason thinks I don't know about Emily. He thinks I'm clueless, but I've been tracking him for months. I was waiting for the right moment to act. And now I think we have an opportunity. I hesitated. Opportunity for what? Her voice dropped. Revenge. I should have walked away. I should have told her I wasn't that kind of person. But something inside me snapped. Maybe it was the months of gaslighting, the lies, the humiliation. Maybe it was the fact that Emily had been playing me like a fool while I sat around believing in our marriage. So I leaned in, matching Claire's intensity. What do you have in mind? She smirked. Jason's got a work retreat next weekend. Emily's already planning to visit a friend, which means we know exactly where they're going to be. I say we beat them to it, flip the script. I frowned. You want to confront them? She shook her head. Number, I want to set them up. Let them walk into their own trap. And that's exactly what we did. The next weekend, while Jason and Emily were sneaking off for their little getaway, Claire and I checked into the same hotel. We got the room next door. We waited, listened. Then, when the moment was right, Claire made a call to Jason's boss, told him that Jason was having a medical emergency in his room. The boss rushed over, knocked on the door, and when Jason didn't answer fast enough, he had hotel security open it. And just like that, boom. Jason and Emily, half-dressed, busted, by his boss, no less. Emily's face when she realized what was happening? Priceless. Jason's career? Over. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse for Emily, Claire dropped the real bomb. She had already filed for divorce. Months ago. She just hadn't served Jason the papers yet, and now she had all the evidence she needed to take him for everything. But here's the best part. Claire wasn't the only one who had a plan. Because as soon as I got back home, I sat Emily down, and before she could even try to weasel her way out of it, I pulled out my own divorce papers. Her face turned white. She tried to cry, to beg, to tell me it didn't mean anything. but I wasn't stupid anymore. I looked her dead in the eye and said, I hope it was worth it. And then I walked out. The last thing I heard was her sobbing. And honestly, it was the best sound I'd heard in years.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit notifications. And if you like this video, press like button. See you in next Deep Reddit videos.